And joining us in studio this morning, Brian Luck, Roswell Independent School District Superintendent. Morning, sir. How you doing today?
I'm well, sir. Good morning. How are you?
Doing great. Great. Good news. I think your counterpart, Aaron Hagerman, they were dealing with some issues because of that accident this morning. So that road's cleared. But if I want to remind folks, you probably have arrangements made. It's already 8:20 in the morning. But just in case, some of the bus routes west of that, where that accident was, were impacted. So you might need to call your teachers, and make some arrangements there. But nothing like that in Roswell this morning anyway. But sometimes it happens.
Yes, it does. It does. Hopefully everybody's okay.
Yeah, absolutely here. So last night, the Roswell Independent School District School Board did meet here, and as they do the second Tuesday of every month. Mm-hmm. At this time of year, because it's kind of wrapping up the school year, and so it's busy there. But for you guys, is it a busier time or a quieter time as far as the board goes? Or is it just business as usual? There's no really quiet busy on that.
You know, I think with the way this year has been, it's hard to get a good vibe. I mean, a good judge of what a normal year looks like.
Sure,
I know that we have end of year things that by statute we have to have done by particular dates, and we brought a lot of that to the board last night, and had a lot of recognitions, and just like you were saying, just
it's kind of button up things. The heavy lifting's already been done.
Absolutely, and a little bit of talk about things that are coming up in the summer. But for the most part, just trying to finish out. I know the board has been super supportive, and they're tired too, and just like everybody else is in our communities, just
ready for a little break.
I think this particular summer, I don't know that anybody's ever been more ready for a summer, or a summer has ever been more looked forward to than the summer of 2022.
Absolutely, but hindsight, looking back, though, I mean, we've been through an amazing amount of stuff this last couple years, but this year especially too. And looking back, you kind of look and it's like, there was some really unsavory type things that went on here, but we did it. We got through it. There was some long days and some long nights, and there's going to be more of those, but I think we've had a great school year overall. Given the variables, given everything, our teachers, our admin, everyone's kicking butt and doing what they got to do to make an awesome school experience for every student in the district.
I think so. When you when you look back at August and you think of even just the COVID stuff that we went through in August and in the fall with the kids having to wear masks and we wear masks in indoor sporting events, and we can't have everybody at a sporting event, or we can only have the parents, or it's a limited number of capacity, and then you end with basketball where we're back in, and so like we were talking off air, it does feel sometimes like that was forever ago. When you start thinking about that, and you're like, oh, that was just last August. And it you do feel like you may have aged 10 years in the 1 year that we've had, but. No, it has been a push, and I know from the school side of it, we couldn't have done it without our parents and our staff and everybody.
Every cog has to do their
everybody.
part.
I mean, it was interesting because it's I've lived here all my life, and it was one of the few times that I can honestly say that the town really did just make a big old circle and push and just say we're going to get this done. We're going to get through it. Our businesses, the employers letting their employees go home because their kids were sent home because of a possible exposure, and it's the third time. And you've got to be kidding me. And you know what? We here we are, guys. And I don't say that lightly. Believe me, not at all. But it has been most definitely a learning experience.
Sure.
And I would like to hope that I don't have to use some of what I've learned. Again, but it has shown about resilience here in our town, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
Absolutely, and I believe this in my heart. When this is all said and done, and we're getting closer to seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, I think here. But I think it's going to make us better at what we do. It's you hear the saying, "What doesn't kill you make you stronger," and I think it's going to make us stronger at the end. I believe that's still in my heart that the people. A lot of good things have come and will come out of this. It's bad and all that, but it's like any other time in human history where there's been adversarial times or just things when humanity overcomes those,
Right.
we come out better, and I think that's what's going to happen. I believe that too. But again, thank you to those teachers, those parents, the staff, everyone for being their part in the big picture here, and because at the end of the day, and this is why it works, because parents, teachers, admin, janitors, cafeteria workers, everybody wants the same thing. They want your kids to have the best exposure and opportunities in their education as possible. And if we can all agree that's where we want to happen, then we can all move the boat in the same direction.
That's right. So. That's right. And the shared vision, and I think early on our vision was get back and get in there. And then it was interesting. There was, about midway through the fall, there was about a week or two where you could just feel well, that's nice that they're back. Now we need to be doing more with them. And then it was the transition from, I'm just happy my kid's there. You can't be upset with him for that. To, okay, yeah, you're right. Now let's make sure that we're trying to get back on track because we got a job to do. And
it's more than just getting me in the building. You got to educate them,
right? And about Christmas time, that switch just like a light switch, it kicks on, and we're moving, and we're hitting up here with the spring, and we've got our what I would say our testing season has passed. We're finishing up with I have signed leave requests and trip tickets and for different things and fun things, and I'm just like, man, that looks so good to see those.
This is stuff you should be doing.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Coming back across the desk for people to go to here, to go to there. And it, again, that's what kids remember from school.
Sure. Yeah. So hopefully, maybe next year kids will be doing field trips and it'll look, it's baby steps. I think it's as we get progressing, it'll look more and more like what pre-pandemic, hopefully.
That'd be nice.
It'd be nice.
That's the plan.
But let's talk nuts and bolts here.
Okay.
Some of the highlights from last night's meeting that we want to make sure we let the public know about it here.
Tell you what, we put in our time last night. We had about a 4-hour meeting, but had lots of things that we needed to get accomplished. We started off with some recognitions of some groups of people, and you always run the risk when you try to recognize this group or that group that you forget somebody, and
sure.
And it's like, well, why wasn't I up there? And it's like, no, that wasn't the case at all. But we did have a few groups, and one of them that I really want to highlight is this year in particular is our social workers. We have had so many things go on in our community outside of COVID, but you throw COVID into that, and this group has always been at a ready. I mean, we've had some tragedies at some of our schools this year where, I get a call, and then I shoot a text out that says, activate the crisis team, and I'll get a response back that says, how many, and I'll say, all of them, half of them, whatever the case might be, and they have always been on the spot. And we bring in, any kind of agency that we can bring in that can assist that. And that when your job is to be handed somebody else's problems, and you can't physically take that away from someone, that's tough.
Absolutely.
And those people do a phenomenal job. They've never even balked at it. We've run through some multiple day events where you're a week or 2 weeks at a building just to make sure that everything gets through. And it's a big testimony to our social workers in our district. And we're always looking, for more of those people, and they've just did a great job this year.
And they have unique jobs in that, like you said, yes, they're dealing with crisis and things, but it's one thing when you're just dealing with tragedy with adults, and there's a certain, but when you come to students, these are young men and women that their brains are still developing, they're still learning how to deal and manage and cope with emotions, and you know what I mean. They're processing all that and learning it. So that's an added layer of when tragedy strikes. How does someone who has never experienced those kinds of emotions handle those? And that's where these folks have really come in and worked and talked and helped them navigate through that with the families and everything else. And it's different when your brain's developed and everything, but when you're, you know what I mean? You just, when you don't have all the tools there or development yet to understand how to cope with that, those social workers really can come in and really help them understand and help them process through what's going on.
Right. And their expertise. I mean, we underwent every 15-minute event over at Roswell High a week or so ago.
Yeah.
And I watched from the other side of the event. And I actually was kind of watching my crew, my social workers crew, as they're just kind of mingling through the crowd and interacting with the kids and watching sort of what they're looking for. And it was really interesting just to see them work and things that they would cue on that you know, an untrained eye would never have picked up. You know, it's one thing if you see somebody just totally distraught and everybody's like, well, that's pretty obvious.
Sure.
But they, you know, just highly trained, skilled individuals and cannot say enough about them. But you're right. Teaching somebody how to cope with things is not easy. I mean, that's not something that comes naturally to most people.
And there's and every person's different.
Right.
What works one way may not work with the next person, you know, and so you got to get creative.
Yeah. And they do. We've had therapy dogs come in, and that's amazing watching, you know, a kiddo come in and they'll they'll gravitate right to that animal and they'll start, you know, petting it or talking to it. And then, you know, maybe they talk to the adult that's standing there or adult standing around, and it's
breaks the ice.
It does. And we're very blessed to have those resources here in town. And so we started by, you know, kind of giving them some props for the work that they've done. Had a brief presentation in our information items on the redistricting process. So it was funny when my guy there at work that does this called me and said, "Hey, now we need to work on our redistricting process." I mean, I was just like, "Oh, you're kidding me! I'm out of here for sure." And he goes, "What are you talking about?" He said, "No, it's the board." He said, "This is the boundaries for the school board after the census." And I was like, "Oh, good." So we hired a consultant, and the board approved that a couple meetings ago. We've got some meetings coming up next week where they're going to be at all 5 of the districts represented. We've got a flyer that we're trying to finalize. We've had some trouble with it because it was a little confusing as far as that it was this board member only, blah blah blah, and it's not. We have 5 districts represented here in our city. We have 5 elected school board members, and you can go to any of the meetings. You don't have to go to the one that's in your district.
Gotcha.
You're free to go. It's the same presentation. You can ask questions.
They're trying to make it convenient being one near you, basically.
Absolutely. So we picked a school within each of the districts, but there are multiple schools represented in each district. We just didn't have the time to have one at every school in the district. And some of the schools are covered by 2 different people. So our board boundaries don't coincide exactly with our school boundaries. So, you know, Roswell High, for instance, may have 2 or 3 board members that actually represent people that go to Roswell High.
Gotcha.
So it's trying to put all that together is kind of tough.
Well, and it's, you know, obviously representation needed things, but it's a little bit different than like city council where the board is really serving all of the school district there, because one part of the district's needs aren't different than the, you know what I mean? The curriculum's the same. Everything. The only thing different is, well, this school needs more bathrooms or whatever it is. But as far as it's all the same. So it's not as needed that, okay, well, I need the one that represents me is the one that represents my needs, and not really school board. It's all the same, you know. And I mean, yeah, they come from the different districts, but they're not representing their district per se. It's all of the district. One
of the things I've found in the years I've been with the district is a parent concern is a parent concern. And it's irrelevant if you live in you know the zone that comes with that board member. They'll probably point you in the right direction to get you to your board member, but they'll still take your concern and they'll take it on up the chain and get that going for you.
And at the end of the day, that if it's something, you know, of a bigger thing, they're all going to be debating and working on that issue together anyways.
Right. Yeah. So the big thing with that is our meetings take place 16, 17, 18, 19 of next week.
Okay.
And like I said, I'll make sure that I get you the flyer. But if that's something that is, you know, that you're interested in attending, again, we'll have that out on our website as soon as we can get that up. Hopefully today.
And this is just kind of an informative Q&A type meetings, or
it'll be a repeat a little bit of what was done last night, kind of going over the process. We're looking for transparency. I mean, there's zero tricks up to this one. We want to make sure that we get the the count as accurate as possible. We want to make sure that the boundaries and the zones are equitable.
Sure.
We're not looking to pull any tricks or any fast ones with
There's
this.
no political agendas here. It's
Well,
just...
it was interesting that you say that, because in the presentation last night, the consultant goes over that, and he talks about things that have happened in the past, not so much here, but and how the cleanliness of drawing up the maps and drawing the boundaries and making it as uniform as possible, but still, acknowledging that there are unique factors within each of our districts. It was very informative. And so, like I said, that takes about 20, 30 minutes for their little presentation, and then they'll be available for questions.
Sure.
But again, it's open. So if you miss, Monday nights, for instance,
Any one of the meetings, you'll get the information you
Monday
need.
nights at Military Heights, and that's District 2. But if you miss that, you can go to any of the others.
Sure.
I mean, we're not going to turn anybody away.
And unfortunately, Roswell's not that big of a town
No.
where it's that big of a travel to any of these different meetings.
Correct.
It's all,
Correct.
one in a town or another.
Yep. Yes, sir. Had a bond sale. We sold our bond the other day. Got a great rate out of it.
Okay.
The first time I've ever done one of those, and what I thought was pretty cool was the reputation that the district has. A testimony to previous school boards and previous superintendents, plural, that our district was sought after. We had people calling central office for about a month before, hey, when are you going to sell that? And got a good rate, had to time the market a little bit.
Sure.
Didn't realize it was going to be quite that stressful. Just thought it was going to be a sale, and it was pretty cool. We were on a clock and had bids, and so, like I said, it went very, very well.
It's like a formal process and
a very formal process.
something you didn't
very
think,
formal process.
unless you do it every day, don't think much about it, kind of thing.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So we're in really good shape.
For folks that aren't, it's because the district has a great, in essence, a credit rating. I think it's called a little something different for government level stuff, but in essence, that's what it is. And so, kids, this is why it's great to work on your credit, because if you have a good credit score, then the people that want to give you money come to you, and that's what's going on. You got a great credit score. That's in essence what's going on here, and but that's why we say, and so. Use this as a lesson. This is why I know it's hard when you're poor. I get you. I was broke airman, and but when you settle in, you just get a little responsible, and then next thing you know, you're gonna have people wanting to give you money too.
True, and it's a great kudos for our taxpayers
Absolutely.
too, because they approved this a few years ago. This is the second half of that, and again, it's reliability. When our district says we're going to do something, we do it. We've been entrusted with that from our taxpayers.
Yeah.
And just a great working relationship that we hope to continue going down the road.
Absolutely.
The money does go for things that we need.
Well, and that's something that's really half the battle when it comes to school board and what they do. Yes, they plan what content is going to be, our teachers are going to be teaching, things like that, but balancing the books, making sure the money's there where it needs to. And to be honest, that's usually the difference between a successful and an unsuccessful school district. And like when you hear problems at school districts in the news of various things, 9 times out of 10, money's involved, and the lack of good stewardship of it is usually the issue there. So this bond and all that is really what I'm talking about is people lining up is a true testament of what Brian's saying is this is of years and years of boards and superintendents and everyone else being good stewards with the money, spending when they need to, but when they don't, making sure that there's enough there for whatever comes next.
Well, and that's that accountability piece that I don't mind. I mean, I've been hired to do a job, but I also realize that I'm going to be held accountable to a standard that is very, very high. Like, again, multiple years worth of boards and superintendents, and anything less is not acceptable.
And I think another layer that adds to the impressiveness of what you're talking about is and let's face it, the Roswell and Penn School District over the last 20, 25 years has gone over a major overhaul as far as logistics and upgraded facilities. I mean, I would say almost every school in the district's either been upgraded or replaced in the last 20 years here. And granted, that's, there was a need there and all that, but to be able to do that and come out here and where we're at today and saying we have a great, as far as our credit and those kind of things are in amazing shape after that much work, that much money being spent to do that's a true testament saying, you know what, they got the job done and they didn't break the bank doing it. And that's
going to be our July conversation right there. But you're exactly right. Yeah. And again, it is the tracks have been laid for that foundation for us. And the walking instructions are pretty simple. Mm-hmm. Follow this model and you'll be fine. And that's our plan right now is to continue. And you're right. We've got 3 left to go. Yeah. And then 2 big ones. So we'll figure that out.
Work's not done, but it's nice to see that we're closer to the finish than to the start.
that we are, absolutely.
Although, in all fairness, by the time you get these done, it's time to start back over and run.
Yes, it will.
It's like road cruise. It never ends. It just, you get one done, you start back over the beginning.
Job security.
What's next on the agenda from last night that we wanted to spotlight? Anything else?
You know what? We had just some housekeeping business. End of the year, lots of grants that we had to approve, lots of little financial stuff, some bars, just tidying up things and getting it buttoned up so that we can call it a day. We did have our Open Meetings Act resolution that was on the agenda, which was basically just these are our meeting dates for the next 12 months. Mm-hmm. We'll get that published out for everybody. Went through some policies and then had our budget presentation by Mr. Cole, and that was pretty substantial presentation. Chad did a really good job. Lots of moving pieces to that thing. One of the groups that we recognized early on was a group from the community that volunteered to come in and be a part of the budget process. They asked some questions, got a little feedback from them, but just putting all that together is pretty massive. Sure. And again, transparency the whole way. Sure. Big budget with lots of things that the state regulates this and the federal government regulates that, and you've got this small piece over here that you can do this with, and a really good job.
There's a lot of hands out, and there's a lot of different earmarks and things, and and that's really the difference between your government, school board, any entity like that, a budget versus say your home budget. Where money comes from is maybe earmarked, and so there might be plenty of money over here, but that's grant money that's earmarked only for Project X. Therefore, we can't take that money to pay for Project B, which we really need more money for Project B. That's going to come out of the general fund. But, oh, wait, we got this that's got to come out of the general fund, so Project B ain't going to – is there another grant out there where maybe we can get Project B funded with? And that's the kind of talk they're talking about here. So it's not like you saying, all right, I got X amount of dollars. How do I save some of that and pay the bills with the rest? Right. It is, but it's a little more complex than – that you do at the house there, because money comes from different sources, and back to the transparency thing. If it's public monies, there's strings, there's ways that you have to do it. So the district has to jump through whatever hoop that came with said string of money.
That's right.
And sometimes the juice is worth the squeeze there. Sometimes it's not. And that's where the school board has to balance. Right. Yeah, we take that money. No, we don't take that money. Yes, we need money to do this. No, that can wait. That's the juggling act that they've got to negotiate. Obviously, the department heads and everything all got they're trying to steer them in different directions, and the board's got to sit down and say what's priority, what can wait. And it's a lot of debating, I'm sure, going over, because when you've got 5 people, there's 5 different opinions, and that's what they're going to do,
The interesting thing with, a lot of the federal money that's coming through right now, the stipulations with it is very, very specific. Mm-hmm. And I get tickled sometimes. I have people say, well, you better not misuse that. And I'm like, I have to go through like 7 people to spend that money.
I can't misuse it even if I wanted to.
I'm pretty sure that we're not, but again, my standard answer is, number 1, I would never want to.
Sure.
But number 2, if we can use some of that for things that we need, we're going to try to do everything we can.
Absolutely. You're going to get the most bang for that buck.
We're going, like your juice reference a minute ago, we're going to squeeze as hard as we can to try to get that for where we need it. But understand, it all has an earmark, and it has to go to that, and that's where it's going to go.
Sure. But the thing is, because they've done such a good job with this, this job is way easier than some other districts. I mean, This is that difference between why we're lucky and where we could be, because I don't know how many times you watch the news and certain District X or County Commission B is it got Santa Fe crawling up their tail because misappropriation of funds, and it may not even be nefarious. It could be just a lack of, they don't know what they're doing. You know what I mean? And we're blessed. We have people that come in that are good stewards that when they don't know, they find out from people that do know and make sure that they're in compliance and transparent.
As a new guy coming in and having a quasi-decent idea of what was going on, I didn't. I mean, I will openly admit that. And having the team that I have that just has run straight forward, just like they always would. They, I'll visit with them and I'll say, okay, now explain this to me. Okay, we'll explain it.
Explain it to me in layman terms.
Okay, now why can't we do that again? And here's the reasons why. And it has been an eye-opening learning experience, but it's also been something that just makes me step back and go, oh my gosh, we have great people.
Yeah.
I mean, because they just go forward. That's their job, and they get it done. And you made a comment like with the state deadlines. Mm-hmm. And some of the deadlines are not easy to find. Some of the mechanisms by which you have to turn things in is not an easy. It's
you almost
not
think it's by design sometimes.
I'm beginning to wonder that. Yeah. But as a whole, our team downtown has just they've just muttered through it.
Yeah.
And when we hit our deadlines and we get things done, and again, very little questions asked from the state. Because of the reputation, and we want to make sure that we maintain that. And
absolutely,
that we maintain that by hitting our deadlines and doing what's asked of us.
Hey, parents, just like you got the good kid and bad kid, you don't look at the good kid as hard when the bad. You know what I mean? That's in essence. I know that's a little, but that's in essence. That's kind of we've got a reputation of being good stewards, good above board, and all that. So guess what? They're going to give us the benefit of the doubt because they say
Correct.
They're trustworthy, they are good. But the school district that's constantly misappropriating or not doing things right, guess what? They're going to come down with the hammer on those. And so, and I think all of us know the less big brother's looking over our shoulder doing our job, the better that is for all of us. So,
yes. Well, and I would rather set an example than be made an example.
Exactly.
So, and that's kind of been my my goal for my career here.
That's right. That's especially in this day and age. That's a fair point.
That's right.
Watch the TikTok video. Don't be the TikTok video.
That's right. That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Is there any other highlights from the meeting that we want to make sure we let folks know about?
You know what? I've got two real quick things.
Okay.
Our construction update on Mesa. Nancy Lopez. Mesa's moving forward. As of right now, not really any type of major issues that we're working with. Everything seems to be on schedule.
Good.
Looking for still a completion date over there of December 2023.
The eve of Christmas Eve.
Tell you what, I'm hoping if contractor holds true to past years, that we'll be in there, and they'll release it back to us probably in phases.
Gotcha.
But that 2023 would be the turnkey moment for everything, and can call it a day right there.
Give you the keys and it's all yours.
That's exactly right, and start paying on it. And then Nancy Lopez, we're still working with our architects.
Okay.
Getting that up and running. The other thing, and this is, again, I'll have a flyer for you guys. June 9th at Roswell High School, there's going to be, it's a listening tour with the Hispanic Education Act.
Okay.
And it's an opportunity, again, for the PED to get out and to listen to things that are concerning our residents.
Gotcha.
We chose that date because it was after, and yes, it is after school's out. They just sent these out to us the other day. But the one date was like next week, and I was like, man, there's too much going on right now.
Not enough lead time for that one.
Too many people are doing end of year things, and so everyone
can catch your breath a little bit.
Catch your breath, and again, I'll make sure that I get that to you guys. That'll be June 9th, 3:30 to 6 at Roswell High. So we're super excited about that.
So is the point of that kind of trying to get connected better with Hispanic speaking in the school district and what they need kind of thing, or is it more than that?
Well, so our state has shifted back some of their attention to the Yazzie Martinez lawsuit, which occurred, and they made the findings right before COVID broke out. And then I don't want to say that it's had to take a back seat, but for a while it has taken a back seat.
Yeah.
And it's
Bigger fish to fry.
It ties with equitability.
Gotcha.
And making sure that access is equal across.
Perfect. Okay.
Across. And
I kind of figure it was something that,
right.
So it's really, so they're trying to find out, all right, is there equal access, equal access, and if not, why and where is it? And let's see if we can address
That's
that.
right.
Gotcha. So if these areas are something that you have
Sure.
input on, please come to this
Absolutely.
meeting, because you at the meeting helps the process and helps us get it fixed.
Right.
So,
And we've started this process. We have an equity council that was formed actually before I came on. We meet. We haven't met in the last 35 days. But we have traditionally met once a month, and we're getting off the ground. So the timing is really good for me.
Gotcha.
To get a vibe for, okay, what is the state looking for from this group?
Sure.
And two is again, this is where I grew up, and I do take great offense when I hear that things aren't right.
Sure.
And under my watch, I don't want that. I want to make sure that what you need you have.
Yeah.
And then, you take your God-given abilities and do what you can with it.
Yeah. Well, it's all our people. It's like Roswell, this area, we're all, we're one community, or our people, and we want to take care of our people
That's
here.
right.
And so if something's missing here, please let them know. And Brian's like, so we can fix it.
Right.
Because you can't fix what you don't know. And
That's right.
that's why we have these meetings. So
True.
So again, June 9th, and more information will come out. We'll share
Absolutely.
and let everybody know when more of the details and everything get put out there.
Right.
And then don't forget, remind them one more time about the meetings here coming up in each of the different districts.
Right. So May 16th at 6:30 will be for District 2.
Okay.
And that'll be at Military Heights at 6:30. May 17th will be District 3, and that will be at Roswell High School at 6:30.
Okay.
District 1 will be at Del Norte Elementary School on May 18th at 6:30.
Okay.
District 5 will be at Missouri Avenue on May 19th, and that one's going to be at 5:45 p.m. We're having two that night.
Okay.
And then District 4 will be at Mountain View Middle School again on May 19th, and that's going to be at 7 p.m.
Very good. And again, all these meetings are going to be the same content.
Sure.
I mean, you're more than welcome to go to all of them, but it's a little overkill. You just need to go to one of them. But definitely, if you want to learn more about the districting and all that, or have input questions, things, these meetings will provide all the information there that you
True.
need.
And just to reiterate again, we are not changing school district boundaries. This is for the board.
Gotcha.
This is board representation. I think the city went through this process not too long ago.
Yeah.
And so it's our turn to go through it.
Yeah. And it'd be, like I said, it's not that earth-shattering, ground-changing or whatever. It's pretty close.
Well, and he said last night at the meeting that our population, from what he's seen so far, hasn't really adjusted to the point that, you're looking at massive changes.
Yeah.
However, this is part of the process, and
Sure.
we don't want to leave, we don't want to just, you don't ever want to just pencil whip something through and say, well, that's how it's going to go.
Absolutely.
You make sure that you follow the process, get it done correctly, so that it's
anytime
in the
you cut a
books.
corner, you're opening yourself up to an issue. And
Yes, you are.
So you don't do that.
Right. And just another reminder too, with our summer's coming up and end of the year activities, and you're going to have schools that are going to have lots of people there different times of the day. You got awards assemblies, you got class parties, you've got different things. So as you're driving around our schools and even at odd hours, slow down, please.
Be careful.
The
Even
little
if
ones,
the lights aren't flashing. be
and the
careful.
little ones just totally don't look whenever they're running up with mom or dad.
Yep.
And so that's not how we want to start off our summer. And just enjoy it and kind of revel in it a little bit. It's been 2 years since we've been able to do this.
Yeah, this is nice kids are running around and doing things again. That's the way it's supposed to be. So, but yes, be careful out there. Use caution when you're out and about, even off school session, because there's still lots of stuff going on there. Just because the light's not flashing don't mean
That's true.
Because a lot of these schools are in neighborhoods and things, and so you shouldn't be whipping around them anyway. So.
Well, and if there's cars there, there's kids there.
Yeah.
In one way or another, whether that's the teacher and their kids or kids that are in the classrooms doing their thing. And it's funny. We close for the summer, but we don't really close.
Yeah, right.
And there's so many things that go on over the summer, and maybe when we come back in June, we can kind of hit some of the events and things that are going on.
Yeah, definitely.
And highlight that for parents that it's like, well, I've had them here for 5 days. It's time they do something.
Yeah.
So it would be
Put 'em work.
more than happy to have a list of fun things for them to do.
I'm telling you, maybe we can get all the custodians in the district and we can start a custodians club, and they all come and the kids come and the custodians take them and show them how to, do custodial things around the school.
Why we don't put gum on the underneath side of our desk. Oh.
Hey, by the way, good luck to the Lady Coyotes
That's right.
softball team. They won
Yes, sir.
over Rio Rancho this past weekend, so now they're heading to the big show in Albuquerque here this week. They'll start. We're going to have the games for you on the radio. We
Right.
can't do video.
Nope.
But Art and Kelly are going to go. They're going to play at 11-3 regardless tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
If they win both, then they'll play at 11 on Thursday. If they lose both, they're done.
Yes, sir.
If they win any one of those games, they'll play at 11 o'clock on Thursday as well. So
Got to love bracket play, man.
Yeah.
And no, when you get up there, and the baseball and softball were different. One's a play in, one's not.
Yeah.
And it's half a dozen of one, the six the other, but getting up there is big.
Yeah.
And that was a big win.
Yeah.
Lots of shockwaves went out across the state, and I don't think they're going to be able to sneak up on anybody.
Well,
now.
they played a complete game. I was listening to Art call that game, Art and Kelly last week, and they were working. And I don't know if they play like that, I don't see anybody stopping them. But
No.
we'll see what happens.
Oh, and I love Art's calls because he gets so excited with what he's doing, and there's times you could just something's happening. It's just like just say it, Art. Just tell me what's going on.
Yeah, he does it. Both of them they do a great job, and but yeah, they're going to be up in Albuquerque calling, and we do have Artesia baseball and softball also going to be going on up there, and we'll be carrying some of that on our sister stations as well. And I think Art and Kelly might even help out because we got Joby and Gene, they're going to be going up, and they're going to be doing mostly Artesia stuff, but Art and Kelly will be there, and depending because sometimes some of this stuff's overlapping at the same time, so Art and Kelly may slip in to help call some Artesia stuff, and
Probably the softball.
and vice versa, yeah, too.
Since they're because it same general area.
Yeah.
But that's a pretty
they're
good,
not near each other.
That's a pretty good drive whenever you're in traffic and 5 o'clock and you're trying to get from place to place.
Yeah,
up there.
it's fun, but it's a nightmare.
No,
at
I
the
know.
same time.
But and almost done. That lots of Tanner I were talking about athletics last year this time versus athletics this year, and again I think everybody's looking forward to June.
Yeah,
just taking a shot and just getting a breath.
Yeah, I think so too. So, good luck to the Coyotes there, and thank you as always. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And if there's anything else you need or any time we need or whatever, let me know. We'd love to have you on to get the information out and whatever we can do to help. So.
Well, and enjoy the summer, everybody. I mean, and parents, thank you. Take some time.
Yeah. Take your vacations.
Catch your breath, and we'll be ready to rock and roll back again in August, and hopefully it looks like it does now.
Let's do the fun parts of life. Going out there and going to the beaches and going to the picnics and cookouts and celebrating time with family and friends.
That's
and
right.
All those things and going.
That's the important stuff.
Watermelon eating contests and, back to, throwing water balloons at each other and all that stuff. We appreciate it, Brian.
Yes, sir.
We'll
Thank
see
you.
you next time. All right.